going on, guys? This is Dave from Otaku, and today I wanted to do a hopefully short review about this book right here. This is the N5 Tango book. It's very popular. Many people have been talking about it, at least in like the AJAC community and those who follow Nuke Marine and a lot of Japanese learners. There's been kind of a lot of talk about this book, and I have been doing this book for what, like 45 days? I can give you an exact number. How about that? I've been doing this book so far for 51 days. Cool. And I decided today was a great day to do a video because as of today I am pretty much 75% through this book, and I am also I just hit a 100-day streak on Anki, so I was like, yeah, let's do a little bit of a, it's a good reason to make a video, right? So this video, or this book rather, has been really great so far. I've really enjoyed using it. There are some ups, there are some downs, and I kind of wanted to talk about that. So, first of all, what I've done with this book. So this book is, based on sentences, and they provide an English definition and a Japanese sentence, and then they also provide Vietnamese, which doesn't help me very much, but who knows. Honestly, I don't physically use the book very often, but in order to actually get the N5 Tango Anki deck that goes along with it, you usually have to provide proof of purchase, so I bought the book. Also, I can bring it to work and use it there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so you go through this book sentence by sentence, and pretty much every sentence will teach you a new I+1 word. So it starts off with something like, watashi wa and desu, or something like that. And then your next sentence might be, watashi wa Smith desu. And then the next one would be like, Tomo-san desu ka? So it's teaching you like one new thing every sentence. Part of my Japanese, I'm sure it's terrible. But it's really cool in that sense. So yeah, some basic questions about it, like, is it helping my immersion? Yeah, definitely. I've noticed that over the last month and a half, my ability to listen to Japanese has gone way higher. I'm still not amazing. I'm by no means fluent. I've been doing AJAT, MIA. This is just a guide for Japanese literacy. I call it some Japanese some of the time. I've been doing that for just over 5 months now, and I'll make a 6-month update video coming up, fairly soon on November 15th-ish. I'm still nowhere near fluent, but this has helped a lot. It teaches you a lot of the most common words that you're going to hear in anime, and a lot of the stuff that you're going to read in manga, and dramas, and conversation, YouTube, everywhere else you're going to get your immersion, right? Definitely suggest it for that kind of stuff. Is it easy to use? Yes, very. Is it really set up I+1? Yes, but. So it's set up I+1 when it comes to vocab, but it's not when it comes to grammar. So one sentence might introduce a new vocab word, but it could also introduce a grammar point, and it's not going to talk to you about grammar. It is a Tango book, which is vocabulary, right? So it's a vocabulary-based book, so it doesn't necessarily teach grammar, but it does have beginner level and N5 level grammar in it throughout the book, and it really, based on what I've read, from Tae Kim and what I read in Genki, and other websites online, it does cover the same grammar that you would expect to see at the N5 level, at the beginner level, which is really cool. What problems I see with it though, as Nuke Marine said, it's not Pokemon. So when I was first going through this deck, I wasn't suspending anything. I was just doing every single sentence no matter what, even if I knew the words in it or not. And that's kind of a problem, because then you're just kind of wasting time. You don't need to practice words you already know. Unless that sentence taught me new grammar, then it was really kind of a waste of my time. I am taking the deck that was pre-built for this book, and I am turning it to full kanji, the full kanji method, right? And that takes a little bit of time. So I knew some words, or a lot of the words that were in here before from when I had studied Genki, back when I originally started studying Japanese. And I knew the words in the book, but I didn't know the kanji equivalent. So I'm keeping those sentences no matter what, because I still want to be able to read the kanji that goes along with the sentences. Each sentence, as you guys will see, I'll show you guys demonstration, is split up in between a listening card and then a reading card. So you have to listen to it and then understand what it means, and then you have to read it and understand what that means. Pretty simple, right? Pretty basic. Other concerns, everything in this book, for the most part, with a couple of exceptions so far, is in masu form, it's in polite form. And I think that's a bit of a problem. While it is easy to convert words from masu to like the standard form, the dictionary form, whatever you want to call it, I can definitely see where that would be like a little bit of an issue, because like my ear is more tuned to hear like tabemas versus taberu, like just because of that. I have to think about it when they say that. Maybe not that word, but there's other words, you know. And not that I really produce any Japanese, but in the very few times where I've been like, what is that sentence, you know, it immediately comes out in mas and des form, as opposed to, you know, like the standard form in da or ta or whatever. Other concern is so I do plan on keeping to go with the Tango books. I want to do the next Tango book, but there is an issue with, you know, if you do this book, you'll get supposedly 1,000 sentences. I think it's a little bit less than that, but I see a problem in that if you kept doing these Tango books all the way up to N1 with these pre-built decks, while you would learn a lot of words, you'll never do the monolingual transition, and that's gotta be something that you have to ask yourself if that's important or not. So personally, as of right now, it's probably a little bit too early for me to make a real opinion about it, but I plan on doing the N5 book, and then I think I'm gonna do the N4 book, and I've already purchased that, and then I'll probably do the N3 book, and then I'll call it. You figure, you know, that'll take a couple of months to get through all of them. And I mean, that was actually another question that some people might have. How long does this book take? And how fast am I doing it? So I started off doing 25 new cards a day, and I do that all the way through the first part of the book. And then I switched to 30 new cards a day. So you know, if there's 2 cards per sentence, that's like 12 to 15 sentences a day, which is about what Matt recommends anyways. And what, you know, Big Brain had said was a pretty good idea. He went through the book really, really fast because he already knew all of it, but he was just kind of going through it for us. So they made it a little bit different. But I think 12 to 15 sentences a day, you know, 25 to 30 cards is pretty doable. And it also keeps my reps fairly low. Like I do, you know, like somewhere around 116, maybe 120 sometimes reps a day for this. And I mean, it's gonna keep going up as I keep on increasing and doing the next book in the series, because I'm gonna keep it all as one deck. But, you know, it's still not bad. With kanji and this, if I want to be quick about it, I can do my reps and my new words in probably under an hour every day, which gives you more time for immersion and more time for, you know, doing real things in your real life. But in the Tango deck that I am using for N5, there are 1,916 cards. So if you did that at a rate of 30 cards a day from day 1, then you would be able to finish this in 63 days, 64 days. So, I mean, 2 months. 2 months for this book, and then you figure maybe 2.5 months for the N4 book, and then, you know, maybe, you know, another 2 months, 3 months for the N3 book. And so you got all the way through that stuff. You know, if you kept on doing 30 cards a day, you did all of that in probably 7 months. And that would bring you to the point where, you know, you've been studying Japanese, I would assume, for about a year, if you did RTK in the beginning. So maybe a little bit less than a year, maybe right around there. But like, honestly, that would be a pretty good base. But then a lot of people would argue that you didn't make the monolingual transition. So anyways, I do want to get into showing you guys the actual deck so you can see what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my screen recorder so you can see what I've been doing on the daily basis, and you can see kind of like what some of the cards look like. Cool, I don't need these anymore. Alright, 1 second. Good deal. Alright, so as you can see here, here's my, you know, Anki stuff. I got RTK. I got so I'm still doing RTK reviews, but I'm doing them lazy kanji style now. I usually do like 40 or so a day. Here's my Tango deck, and then I have like a random default deck, subs SRS and sentence. I haven't really been doing sentence cards on my own. I've only been doing the Tango deck, and that's something I might change once I get to the N4 level, where I might start just doing like 5 subs to SRS decks, or 5 to subs to SRS cards a day to find like I+1 things for me, so that I can pick up more words that are a little bit more slangy, that aren't just like super proper Japanese, you know? So, but anyways, as you see here, boom, you know, 100 dice. Pretty happy about that. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, I have a couple missed days throughout this, and as you can see, I started using Anki here on May 16th, so I kind of consider that like the day that I started doing, you know, AJAP. or MIA, or see, my thing, you know, my study ways. So, but anyways, let's go and pull this up and we can do a couple of cards and you guys can see. I'll show you some of the older ones. Yeah, let me bring up the screen recorder so you can get sound on that too. So hopefully you guys can hear this. So. Meshi, you know, so you would get your words. So this is like a vocab card. Some of them are vocab cards, some of them are gonna be sentence cards. There are a few like single vocab words in this deck, but it's mostly sentences. I'm sure we'll see one in a second. Alright, so business card. Okay, I knew what that was. So, okay, cool. So you'd have to be able to read this card here, and you'd have to be able to say, okay, it means this, and you'd have to know, how to read the kanji in this case. I'm pretty sure in the normal deck they don't have this kanji in there. I'm not sure if they did, this one, but you just have to be like, kaban o mochimashou ka? Hai, arigatou gozaimasu. So you'd have to be able to read that and be like, okay, I understood it. I know, how to pronounce all of the kanji and all the words, and then.
持つ。カバンを持ちましょうか？はい、ありがとうございます。
Cool. So that's good.
少し。漢字が少しわかります。
漢字が少しわかります。
少し。漢字が少しわかります。
Basically, you keep going through here, and you'd have to be like, 弟が家へ友達を連れてきました。So my younger brother brought his friend over to our house.
連れてくる。弟が家へ友達を連れてきました。
So yeah, I mean, fairly easy process, and you would just keep on going. It's either 会社、仕事. I always mix those up. 会社は9時から5時までです. So work is from 9 to 5. And you would just keep on going through, and so I didn't prep any of these are just my cards that I have to do today, so you guys are seeing this live, whether or not I'm getting these right. I didn't try to set these up or anything, but basically that's how this deck works, is you just keep on going through, and some of the audio cards are going to be sentences, most of them are. So this card right here has two cards. It has one that is an audio card where I'd hear this sentence and I'd have to understand it, and then there's obviously this card which is a sentence card which I'd have to be able to read it. I find this method to be great. I'm learning so much doing this, and I really, really, really enjoy it. But anyways, alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish my reps for the day, and then I'll get to my new words for the day, and I'll show you how I've been switching it over from the regular deck to the full kanji deck. Cool. Anyways, alright, thanks guys. I'll be right back. Hey guys, what's up? Back. So finished all my reps, and now it's time to do my new words. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this for you guys, so you can see the new words process and how I do this every day. Basically, just kind of show you how I switch it from partial kanji to full kanji, because in this book they only include N5 level kanji, and for those of us who have gone through all of our TK or have gone through Nuke Marine's list of 555 most common kanji, you might want to start including some. So basically the tools that I use are these ones that are here on the screen that you guys can probably see now, maybe, hopefully, yeah. Basically, I just use Jisho for right now, which is a really good dictionary for Japanese stuff. And then people will judge me, but I totally use Google Translate sometimes as well, because I find that every once in a while it's just really easy to have a quick reference guide. Type something into Google Translate. Although I've noticed that sometimes it's definitely wrong, but if you just need to check something really quick, sometimes it's helpful, but 99% of the time I'm using Jisho. I know that some people say switch it up once you get better, but I'm not at that point yet. So anyways, this is my second new card. My first new card was a sentence card based on an audio card that I learned yesterday, so that was kind of a waste of your time for you guys to see it. But so just to show you guys this, so I'll replay the audio for you. Turn it up a bit.
説明。生き方を説明してください。
So, and I don't really know those words, so I think this is I+2, and it's going to teach me, usually there's some I+2 sentences in here, and what it'll do is you'll get that new word, and it'll be I+2, and then it'll show you that word in the other word that you didn't know in the next sentence or two. So it's not that bad. You get it pretty quickly. So what I do is I take the words that are here and I just put them over here into Jisho and like see if I can see if there is a kanji for it. And then Jisho is great because if it's a very common word, like, I don't know, aru, you know, so type in like, aru, to exist, right, to be, you know, tomodachi arimasu, you know, that's my friend over there. It'll say, usually written in kana alone. And if that's the case, if it says usually written in kana alone, I usually don't switch it over because like I'm trying to incorporate a lot of kanji, but I will admit that learning a new vocab word and learning the kanji that go with it at the same time can sometimes be a lot. So I want to get everything that's common, but if it's uncommon, I'm going to skip for now and then I will learn that later on. So, back to setsume. Alright, so setsume, it looks like it's an explanation. And you know, here's two kanji right here. If you click on details in Jisho, it'll tell you, you know, that means opinion and bright. If you didn't remember that from RTK, those are usually they use like the RTK words. So an explanation is a bright opinion. So what I'll do though is I'll actually type it in. Setsume. And then spacebar, brought it up right away. Cool. Copy that. Paste it here. And then Control F, because I have the furigana tool added on, will immediately add the furigana for me, so that's really quick. So, ikikata o setsume shite kudasai. Setsume, it's gonna have the super on there. Setsume shite kudasai. And then I just usually copy this whole line, like go. And then just drop it down here, and then the furigana to it. So here, this is the way that this deck is set up. Cool. And then I go ahead and play it.
説明
生き方を説明してください
Cool. And I should recognize it because I literally just did the card. And then,
説明
you know, good. And then it's going to give me immediately right afterwards the sentence, you know, the reading portion. So, 説明してください. So,
説明
生き方を説明してください
so I don't know ikikata. I'm assuming that means directions, you know. 生き方を説明してください. I'm sure that this word, you know, you can also use like, you know, the sentence would make sense if you said, you know, 教えて or something like that too. But, you know, it's important to learn more words.
角
Okay, so this is just like, you're gonna run into a couple of these. I mean, there's some with every single chapter in this book. They're gonna be vocabulary words. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did before. Kado, you know, kado, corner, desk, pavement, edge. It's not usually written in kanji, or it's usually written in that kanji. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add the kanji, and boom, kado. So this card is not going to give me a sentence card. Because it's not a sentence, it's just a single word. If you wanted to make a sentence card for it though, you could, although that would be kind of a waste of time. You would just throw something in here. Usually people type in X, but it's kind of a waste of time, right? Like why would you add the extra work if it's just an individual vocabulary word, so kado. So it's gonna be that. Okay, cool, close.
角
Alright guys, all done studying for the day. Finished all my reps and everything, did RTK to Tango. So kind of like in conclusion, review of this book. I hope you guys kind of got an idea of how it works and how the Anki deck that goes along with it works. I really like it. I would definitely suggest it to other people who are learning Japanese, whether or not they're doing AJAT, though, you know, everybody ends up doing AJAT eventually, right? Or MIA, whatever you want to call it. You know, obviously, you know, using this book will teach you a lot of words, but you got to use your immersion to, you know, learn to hear those words better and better in native Japanese. you know, I'm gonna keep going with this series. Like, what's my plan? Well, I'm probably gonna do the N5 book. Definitely finish the N5 book, obviously. I'm definitely gonna do the N4 book because I've already bought it. And I find that these books are so far really, really helpful. And then I could see there being a lot of benefit to also doing the N3 book because it seems to be that N3 grammar, you know, and vocab words are the ones that kind of bring you to like that like basic level of, you know, conversational Japanese. Like, you're not fluent yet, but you got it, you know, like you're doing well. And then from there, I'll probably dip into only sentence mining. I'll probably start sentence mining otherwise during N4 maybe. I'll see how much of a, you know, a hassle doing both at the same time are, even if it's just a couple of sentences a day. But obviously I'm going to keep immersing, you know, as far as like my other things, reading. I still read some manga, and I definitely get obviously the reading practice from the cards that I do, which I don't think that probably doesn't count. I tried reading a couple light novels, but my Japanese just isn't there yet. And like I said, I'm about 5 months in, and I can't just read it. It's a lot of what do these kanji mean together, and what's their reading, because, you know, RTK obviously doesn't teach you readings, and that's part of it, I know, but you know, Matt and Nuke are saying that it's best right now to get most of my immersion from audio sources like anime and from like audiobooks and stuff like that. So I mean, mostly what I've been doing is I've been watching anime. Sometimes I watch it with Japanese subtitles, sometimes I watch it with no subtitles, and every once in a while, or not every once in a while, probably, you know, every day, a couple of episodes a day, I watch with my wife with English subtitles. And then what I just try to do, because my wife likes anime too, is I just try not to read the subtitles, especially when I know it's an area where I could probably understand most of the words. I know a lot of people would probably shit on me for that, but honestly, I'm finding it really helpful because, one, it's time for me to still get to spend with my wife, and two, like, you just don't look at the subtitles. I know people are like, oh, that's not possible, but like, you can't. You can just not look at subtitles and just listen to the Japanese. And it's actually kind of a added benefit of, like, if you hear something, you're like, oh, I think it means this, and then you look down really quick at the subtitles, and is that right? No? Okay, well now you know. Yes? Cool, good job. It's, you know, as long as you're not paying attention to the English subtitles constantly, I think you're good. Personal opinion. You guys can hate me for that if you want. As far as writing practice, I'm not getting any writing practice right now. I'm not writing kanji anymore. I'm purely doing lazy kanji. It's great. You know, and maybe that's something I'll work on in the future, but right now it's not a concern of mine. Speaking, pretty much zero. You know, obviously, as you guys heard, I'll often repeat the audio from my cards, but I don't really consider that speaking because I'm not like creating Japanese. I'm just repeating it as I hear it and trying to match their tone and, you know, everything like that. Listening, anime, I also have stripped a bunch of anime series and put it on my phone, and I listen to that while I'm driving to work and while I'm working out. I work out like 4 times a week or so, usually for like an hour at a time or so. So, and I always just listen. I don't listen to music when I work out anymore. I just listen to that, which, you know, at first was kind of boring, but now it's like a good distraction, you know. And then grammar. For grammar, I'm just, you know, I'm looking up words as I go, or grammar points as I go through this deck in Take Him, and then sometimes I'll just Google like Japanese grammar and whatever piece of grammar I don't fully understand and get an explanation that way. I've read through most of Take Him. I read through Genki 1 and 2 before, and I know people will also shit on that resource, but it's honestly not the worst resource in the world. You know, yeah, like you know, I'm not going through obviously Genki and using it as my study resource. I'm just using it every once in a while to look up a quick grammar point if I know where it is. But Genki and the internet are a lot easier to search, so that's, you know, 1% of the time that I use it. It's mostly just when I'm at work. Cool. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and hit me below. I will not give out this deck. Don't ask me. I am not gonna give out the deck. When I finish the deck, full kanji method, I will give that deck to Nuke Marine and he can distribute it if he likes. But if you guys want this deck, go to Nuke Marine. I'm not, no. I just want to make it really clear. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask. If you guys have any suggestions, please, please, please let me know, because I definitely want to be doing this the best way I can, and I definitely want to make sure that I don't think there's any right way to really, really learn a language, but I want to definitely do what's most effective. And yeah, otherwise, if you guys have any good suggestions for reading material in the future. I would especially like to know about some like basic level like light novels. I would love suggestions on that. I'm the kind of person I don't mind like buying it and ordering it from Japan because I need stuff to read while I'm at work. So yeah, light novel suggestions, please. Go ahead and throw them in the comments below. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video if you made it this far, and great, I'll hit you guys up in another month when I do 6 months. Bye.